is workable for us. Port Harcourt Seaport is not working. Calabar Seaport is not working. Warri Seaport is not working. Now there is huge congestion at the Apapa Wharf in Lagos. Instead of the Nigerian government to open Warri Seaport, Port Harcourt Seaport and Calabar Seaport, they've now decided to build two brand new additional seaports in Lagos rather than open the ones in Biafra. You may also be aware of the fact in the recently concluded elections that Biafrans were prevented from voting in Lagos, in Abuja, and in Kanu. These are well documented by the observers that were sent by the European Union. There has been no notice of admonition. Nigerian governments have not been called or held to account as to why citizens of a particular country supposedly were not allowed to vote. I'll give you a simple example, again in Germany. You have a lot of people who are German citizens, but they have Turkish either parents or grandparents that descended from the Turkish migrants into Germany after the Second World War. It is tantamount to saying to them that you will not vote in Bavaria, you will not vote in, say, in Hamburg, you will not vote in Cologne because you are Turkish. Do you see such a thing happening in Germany? But that is what is happening in Nigeria, and nobody is talking about it. When it comes to police brutality, military occupation, extortion, rape, kidnapping, all forms of what I call official banditry by the security arms and Nigerian government, all things we encounter and witness on a daily basis. All we do is we catalog them, we forward them to the likes of the organization, to the UN, to the EU, and nothing happens. So the status quo that you have here are those supporting the status quo in Nigeria, which is the presence of the present political structure in Nigeria, will lead to the extinction of my people.
Who benefits from structure?
I think the colonial masters benefit from it. And also those whose interest is to ensure that Africans perpetually poor and subservient to powers that be around the world. You may also know that there is a great race in Africa right now, a new form, brand of colonialism, with the Chinese coming in and perhaps the Americans trying to stop them by engaging a few governments in Africa. I am not against economic investment in Africa. I'm not against the economic participation of powerful nations in Africa. In fact, I am a capitalist. I believe in laissez-faire economics. I want people to come to Africa to invest, create jobs and opportunities for everyone. But there has to be a recognition that the arrangement that we, or so as inherited after colonialism, is unworkable, has never worked, and will never ever work. That is why no single black African country is proud of its record. No single black country is developing in the rest of the world development. All of them are on handouts from Europe, from America, from Paris. And there is a reason for that. The reason for that is that the matter of divergent value systems is the key problem that we have. Allow me to once again reference Germany. There is a debate within the EU to allow Turkey to become a part of the EU. They're applying for years and lobbying to become part of the EU. Although they're part of the UEFA, you have Galatasaray, you have all the great football clubs from Turkey playing in the European or UEFA Champions League. But yet Turkey is a part of the EU, and there's a reason for that, a very valuable one. The reason being that the system, which is the way you understand as a group of people, the way you distill issues, the way you solve them, the way you resolve them, is who you are as a people. We all know it's called value system. The value system of an Islamic Turkish state cannot sync with what you have in Western Europe as encapsulated in the EU. In other words, to fit Turkey within the EU will lead to a lot of cultural clash an upheaval. So the thing to do is to allow Turkey to stay where it is and then remain friends with Europe. But if you are seeking similar union with, say, Canada or the USA, it will be far more easier to achieve because they are all Judeo-Christians, they have democratic values, they believe in human rights, they believe in having an open society, they believe in the rule of law. This is what binds Europe together as presently constituted. Now, if you come to Nigeria, for instance, the northern part of Nigeria, they're mostly feudal Islamic emirates. In the west, the Yorubas, educated, sophisticated and obeying, they're more monarchical in their outlook. We Easterners, we Biafrans, are Republicans. So having a state or a nation like Nigeria is like lumping United States of America, Iran, and Afghanistan into one country. And everybody knows it can never ever work. So that is the difficulty that most academics and scholars have failed to grapple with, that the present state structure in Africa is an impediment, a natural impediment to development, to growth, to rebuild civil society in Africa. And no part of Black Africa will be civilized until these core issues are.
What do you say to those people who say that new countries mean new conflicts? New countries more for self-nation, yes, for independence, yes, lead to more brutal clashes between different ethnic and religious groups.
The same argument was made before the collapse of the Soviet Union. The same was also made before Yugoslavia was dissolved, and to a lesser extent Serbia as well. You will recall and agree with me that Soviet was a nuclear power, isn't it? Was there a nuclear union broke up? Yugoslavia, to an extent, is the same. There was the fear or paranoia about the Balkans. You know, the ripple effect it will have on the broader Yugoslavia be allowed to break up. Yugoslavia broke up. New emerging democracies came out as a result of it. Is there any war in Yugoslavia today?
Not today, no.
Exactly.
There are legacies of the wars in the 90s, but
absolutely. It did subside after a while. Exactly the same thing in Africa. It can be done in Africa. I think it's inverted racialism, that's what I call it. It's racism by another means. To think that Europe can handle disintegration of a mighty empire like the Soviet Union, that you don't expect Africans to manage their own disintegration. I don't think that is correct at all. You will also agree with me that Ethiopia from Ethiopia, and very recently, of course, the history of the encouraging Southern Sudan came out of Sudan, is a case of how they were managed more than else. If there is a recognition that the primacy of the will of the people at all times will be allowed to prevail, then there won't be any issues at all.
And let's assume that the Biafrans will become an independent state, will get their freedom after all. How do you envision the relations between a newborn Biafra and Nigeria? Your vision for that?
That would be the same relationship that you and England. After all, the United States of America fought for independence, conflict for that matter, and broke away from the British Empire. And today they call themselves cousins that live across the pond. Will happen with us before the British came to colonize us. And we will not be at war when Biafra is separate. There seems to be this fear that the reason why we see Biafra is because of the huge oil and gas deposits we have in Biafra. That's not the case. We just want to live like any other civilized, normal country around the world. We come to Germany to seek asylum. We don't want to drown in the Mediterranean. We trek thousands of kilometers across the Sahara to die of dehydration. We don't want to be left as victims. We just want to live an ordinary, dignified life.
You want to be the masters of your own fate.
Absolutely, which any normal human being will aspire to have. Yes.
Could you tell us something about your own personal history. You were born in 1967.
Yes, correct, yes.
The Biafran War had already begun.
Yes.
Do you remember anything with your first years on Earth?
Not actually, no. I don't know how it happened, but all I can recall was for those first 3 years, no, I can't recall anything at all. I know I had building and loving parents. That's all I can recall, I can make of it. But it dawned on me when, about the age, the Nigerian soldiers ransacked my village and destroyed the properties and took most of the men away because a young Fulani soldier molested one of our sisters and she retaliated. She spurned his advances and shoved him away, basically, and that was my village was up, and that was my first experience of what it means to be in Nigeria. The raiding of my village and the arrest and detention of our fathers and uncles and our brothers. Somebody went to rape my sister, and she said, my aunt actually, and she said no. So you can, and we have to live with that occupation for a very long time. But it seems to me that the more it went on, the more the world, like Biafra was one of those traumas that the world wanted to forget about. And that's what we're today.
And until today there has not been any national reckoning, not any reckoning, kind of reckoning, any reckoning with regards to the Biafran War, the crimes that were committed. It's not being talked about in Nigeria.
No. Because I believe that the powers that be around the world doesn't want to talk about it for reasons best known to them. People died. 3.5 million people, apart from the Jews of Europe, the second largest genocide in modern history. There was conscious effort to sweep the whole thing under the carpet, like it never happened. But for some reason, we may also ourselves be guilty of that because we did not do what we're now doing. Let's highlight the so we are to show part of the blame as well.
Criticize young age. Yes. You told about the movements you had when you were 5. Yes. Could you tell us about how you were politicized in subsequent years?
In subsequent years, that very that I heard as a child stuck with me. And as time went on, we realized that Nigeria didn't want us to be there with them because they're as slaves, perhaps. So people that can exploit, people who will be made subservient to powers that be. But as time went on, it became harder. We paid school fees to go to school. Others don't pay school. Others did not pay school fees. There's something called the education advantage states in Nigeria, which means that if I score 200 out of 400 to a school, I will not gain admission or entry to that very school. If somebody else from somewhere has only 3 out of 400, they will get a private place in a boarding school, a unit school, they call it. Our parents had to start from scratch at the war. We were only given £20 money per male, adult, child, regardless of how much you had in the bank before the war. Immediately after the war, that money was confiscated by the Nigerian state and only £20 given to you to start life. That is why today you have us in the business of buying and selling rather than manufacturing and goods of goods and services. The discrimination is not subtle anymore, very constant and sustained, culminating only recently in the Nigerian government or those that are in charge of Nigeria telling us that we cannot vote in certain states, that an Igbo man, a Biafran, can no longer be the president of Nigeria. This is of the Nigerian state. It is not something that happened at a time is as an accumulation of a series of very distressing and disturbing developments within Nigeria that led some of us to say that enough is enough. And we're not going to stop until the rest of the show.
You told us that you free Biafra.
Yes.
It was 29 years ago when you went to London, or
That's
was it
correct.
even before?
No, 29 years ago.
Could you tell us about the circumstances of you going to flee?
I fled Nigeria when I was released from prison and they came to my house to kill me. The Nigerian state came to my house on the 14th of September 2017. When I was due in court the next month, October the 13th, they came to kill me on the 14th and they ended up killing me to the evening. But of course, in any other world, there will be some kind of judicial review as to why somebody who was granted by a court should be acting with the sole intention of killing him. None of that happened in my case. What they wanted to do was to kill me because they know the war has to do with Biafra. Nobody gives a toss about it. You can walk into Biafra today and kill 1 million people. I can assure you nothing will happen to you. So they came to my house, they became emboldened because they've killed Biafrans so many times that questions were not being asked. So they thought, you know, we can go and kill him. And that nobody will ask questions. That's what happened. So I was basically bundled out of my house by my security men, but unfortunately 28 of them fell in the process. And I made my way to Israel. Okay, so what happened? They came to kill me. I didn't levy war against the state. Absolutely not. But because the Fulani ruling class in Nigeria, because they know that they have the backing of the Islamic world and by extension Britain, they can do whatever thing they like to anybody and nothing will come of it. That's the type of life we are being forced to deal in Nigeria.
Can you tell us something about your relationship with the State of Israel?
I am a Jew, not just myself, but my people. We are most of the Jewish traditions we practice. We all into it. And so it's a question of I think is a journey of discovery. You know, and you discover yourself and know where you come from, and you can do all you can to be very proud of that very heritage and identity. That's what it is. So we've been this way for centuries. This is how we were born. So, and make no apologies about it.
I understand. And today, how does the Nigerian government portray this towards the people of the outside world?
The outside world, I think, is a conspiracy to perhaps kill every Biafran on the face of the earth, erase Biafra as people, because Nigeria has a lot of money. They get a lot of crude oil and gas from my and they have well-refined lobbies around, including here in Germany. So when you face on Biafra, before the ministry will tell you is that, oh, we are doing the best we can to make sure that Nigeria lives up to its obligations to respect human rights and to have value for the life of its citizens. That's all. We support the territoriality of Nigeria, and for that very reason, all we can do is to advise my government. The impunity continues. The policy of the EU, of great countries like Germany and Britain, is to encourage in Africa. And they close with that we don't want to destabilize West Africa region. Nigeria is an economic power, is has a great population. We don't want to disrupt or the outcasts. That's what they're saying. Which is needed. To hold Nigerian government to account just complex taking or diplomatic maneuvering. All it requires is very simple. You either do this or here are the consequences of it. But they have failed to do that time and time again. That is why people are dying on a daily basis. That is why the killings are continuing now. And it's even grown from the Biafran territories to the Middle Belt and to the north. When they kill and nobody does anything about it, it emboldens them and they kill even more. And as I'm speaking to you right now, if you go online and type in killings in Nigeria, you will see the ones that happened this very afternoon. All the world does is turn a blind eye. And if you have to understand, it's because we don't want to upset the world. I want to actually know what they are defending. Because an independent Biafra will do business with every right-thinking civil country around the world. If the idea is for the European world to say, we want ice, we want roads, we want drinking water, education, and all the rest of it, the next way is Southeast Asia is developing today because of Japan. Europe is raised today because of the healthy competition between the likes of Germany and France, the UK, and all the rest of it. Why wouldn't they allow Biafra to unite? There is this conspiracy, perhaps from Biafra. You have you know that Biafra can solve that very problem. But it refuse to get into that. Because those who of the values in Africa want to maintain it. Give them majority. They are playing God. You know, we are going to Africa, we created Nigeria, we created the Cameroons, Ghana. But why the Soviet Union came in Germany and decided Germany into two by the war? Why was it that NATO, Western Europe, and North America said no, or at least fought until the barriers came down? Maybe you have enlightened leaders and law people. In Africa, you have heads of states who are more interested in how views than trying to elevate some of the people. So, in that regard, I'm not blaming. The blame is not entirely on Europe and America. I think we also have to, as all, we not behaved like humans should. Most Africans, I'm sorry to say, there's not much between us and the wild beasts in the forest. I'm very, very factual and honest. The land can be laid on the doorstep of America. We're also responsible. We have failed to reason properly like humans. That is why ask him how come you do the elections, all the bloodshed, people were killed, mowed down in polling stations. You saw them burn polling booths down, including the ballot papers. Have you heard of any national inquiry, any condemnation? Because these boys, they have oil and gas interests, not to destroy it. These monkeys can die all they like. We don't need our oil and gas. And that's exactly what dictates their reasoning.
So your point would also be that societies in Western countries need to wake up and put more pressure on to change their attention towards Nigeria.
Yes, in the idea of I think of this. within a wider context, nothing is happening in Africa. CNN will cover it, that will cover it, Sky News will cover it. You can watch Sky News from year to year. There will be no mention or anything in terms of human rights abuses happening in Africa on the platform. The same. When anything happens,
something similar could also happen in Nigeria. It might give any power or help to the Biafran movement.
yes, but within the meaning, the true understanding of what a nation should be. Isn't it very ironic that when Southern Sudan was part of Sudan, this uprising never happened? It's only happening now because now you have a more homogeneous Islamic, Arabic in coloration population. They now have the right to decide who can govern. In Nigeria, if Nigeria were to divide into four, we can now hold accountable. But having this amorphous sort of congregation of diverse nationalities, all you need to do is to play on the ethnic card, the sense of unity. So you can be the worst dictator in the world, and nobody will remove you. Because you will say this against them. That's what happens in Africa. That's what happens. Most political scientists don't even know. But in terms, look at on all the happened in Africa, where there were predominantly one thing order, be it religious, political, be it social. They had one thing in common. They had pockets of other faith religions and people. And in the main, the overall religion was Islam. So their value system was Islamic. You can rise up against the ruler of the state and people understand you. If I rise up now in Nigeria to fight against that thing that have there as the president, that's so they will say because he's a practicing Jew, he doesn't like us. We are Muslims. Do you understand what I mean? But if they have Muslims, governing Muslims against your leader, and nobody will complain. That is one of the lasting damages that the arbitrary creation of nation states in Africa is having. You can never have a revolution, a popular uprising in Black Africa, never, ever, ever, with the current and existing boundary structure you have in Africa, it's impossible. Forget it. And without popular uprising, can you change anything in society?
So many people would say that the existing borders are a bit difficult, to say the least, to see, but they some kind of stability. You would say that as long as there won't be any stability.
Was this overall concern for stability so prominent when communism was collapsing across Eastern Europe? Why didn't the powers that be say, no, if we collapse communism, there will be more stability with some nuclear warheads in Kazakhstan, some in Georgia, some in Azerbaijan, there will be difficulties across the world, or there will be this nuclear apocalypse. Countries that had nuclear weapons broke into pieces. There was no nuclear war. Anybody else or using an excuse to maintain these evil regimes in Africa, that person is worse than Satan. It's evil. It's a lie. Another, a reach from Ethiopia. Has the war ended? Has Southern Sudan itself? Has the war come to an end? Why is it that when it comes to Africa, the rules always change? Why is that? That is my main concern. Allow us to grow organically the same way that states were formed in Europe. How can I come from Biafra and I come to Germany, I cut you into 7 places and say, you, from today your name is Westphalia, you're Bavaria, you're no longer German. Does that make any sense to anybody? Why must we be allowed in Europe? Maybe because we are Africans, we don't ask questions, and we are perhaps very stupid, I don't know.
So, assume, let's be optimistic, assume that one day you will be able to return to Biafra after some time. Now, what's the first thing that you do?
First thing that I would do is to go and pray at the temple where our forefathers used to pray in a place called Arochukwu, a very glorious temple destroyed by the British in 1904. I'll go back and pray. I think that's the first thing that I would do. And I'll watch a crop of new leaders emerge to take Biafra to its rightful position in Africa. I won't say the world. If I say the world, they will say black people from Africa feeling very well, going to school, no famine, no difficulties. I don't think that some parts of the can live with that. There is a part, I believe, in an average European that actually enjoys the suffering and misery in Africa. I'm being honest with you. There could be an insignificant minority that have the sense of faith within them that would like to see Africa emerge from the mess that is in. But I can tell you categorically that I believe some of them that donate money to charities and the rest of it maybe so out of some kind of pity that these creatures can't handle take care of themselves. I want to be alive to watch Biafra emerge from that stereotype, become something that's today. And the world has nothing to do. The more we bring to Biafra, the more I feel we have to do that anyway.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kanu,
for talking to us and letting